Good morning, Sarah Hepala, even though it's 3:35 in the afternoon.
Good morning. Who is this? I'm sleepy.
This is the girl who clocked in about half an hour ago. Sarah's like, I'll be right there. I'm just waking up from a poor girl. She's
I
working. You're
did.
burning it at both ends, baby.
I know.
You are.
Yeah, I have I woke up and I was like, I just had this vague memory of texting Nancy that I would be right there. And then like 30 minutes passed. But anyway, I needed the sleep. I knew you wanted me to have the sleep.
That's right,
So
because we are in video now, so we need our beauty sleep, and you have
yeah,
been very
exactly.
busy. And I'm just gonna butt in right here and say I am now unbelievably busy because I am leaving for LA in the morning, heading out to cover the mayhem. Maybe you've been paying attention to what's been going on in LA. Not that long ago, yesterday at some point, some ICE agents made some raids, including at a Home Depot. A whole bunch of stuff has started, cars burning, National Guard being called in, which Trump did, which Trump is not allowed to do unless he imposes the Insurrection Act, which has not been done since 1992. And the riots last time, the governor doesn't want him to do it. It's not, I don't really know what it's like on the ground. I've gotten dual messages. A lot of people are messaging me. I appreciate that. My DMs are open on Twitter. You can find me here. You can find me over on Make More Pie and on Substack. And a photographer friend of mine who's on the ground's like, it's going to be martial law by Friday. It's going to be insane. And other people are like, you know what? It's kind of scattered right now. So let's not make too much of it. So I'm going to go
Mhm.
find out for myself. I'll be reporting for Reason. I'll be reporting for you guys. And I've got my usual plea. If you want to head over to, first of all, you can become a paid subscriber here, and we would love that. But if you want to go over to my Substack, which is Make More Pie, we'll put a link there. And become a paid subscriber because that really helps me. I do get paid by the places that I write for, but I got to get myself around and get myself out there, and it all helps. And I'll try to give you some stuff, maybe some YouTube live, and we'll do some reporting. So that's what's going on in this part of the world.
Well, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah,
I Am I very quiet to you?
a little bit. You sound a little quiet. If you can
I wonder
bring up that sure mic.
why I'm touching there.
There, oh,
I'm
see,
touching you.
you
Okay,
touched it and it
I did.
grew.
I
It's
did.
funny.
Yesterday I went to a big summer event for the Dumb Zone, which is a podcast that I appear on. Two of my friends do, Jake and Dan. And it's so successful, Nancy.
Oh,
It's really like
that's so great.
it's so great, and they have such a huge audience, and they're so happy, and it's actually really cute because if you go by the tables, it's like I'm like, Do you work for Jake and Dan?" They're like, "Oh, no, 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 I'm like volunteering." Like, it's all this like people that just wanted to be part of the party, and I find that so moving that, like the media community would like make something together, you know?
I mean, our boys at the fifth column have that too. They something happens and people bring stuff and people are making videos of them, or it's just people want to be around stuff that's bringing them joy and that feels trustworthy and are fun. I mean, I don't know the Dumb Zone guys. I hope I get to meet them the next time I'm down your way. But they're obviously making
Well,
people happy.
they live in like far-flung suburbs, but they're darling, and maybe we'll get them on our pod sometime so you can meet
Yeah,
them. But
love it.
Dan is like a real curmudgeon, so it's like you don't know if you should bring him out into the wild. But he's brilliant too. He's like a Norm Macdonald type, and then Jake is younger and a little more. I don't know. I sound like I'm inviting my boyfriend to family dinner. I'm like, you guys won't like him, but he's really amazing and he's nice to me.
And everyone, he's really popular with
He's
everybody
really
else.
popular
So
where we go
yeah,
to
yeah,
school.
yeah.
Anyway, I just woke up. But what I want the reason I brought that up is because a number of their listeners came up to me and said, "I also listened to your podcast." And so it was
Oh,
nice. Yeah, we have our biggest referrer referrer is the fifth
refer.
column.
Yeah,
But our second biggest is the dumb zone.
awesome. Great.
So we have gotten hundreds of
I
subscribers
love it.
from them,
Love it.
and we appreciate that. So if you were there yesterday, thank you very much. I was wearing a buttercream dress that reminds me of
Ooh,
Nancy Rommelman.
buttery.
And
Um, speaking of, so the majority of people that are listening, especially to like a sports podcast, tend to be dudes, and that's fine. I don't know what the not the rationale, the numbers are. What, Nancy brain, for the fifth column guys. But I did happen to go onto our YouTube because there's some, I like to kind of like poke into the stats. Guess what percentage of people, of subscribers to our YouTube, are men?
60%.
100, baby.
No, that couldn't be true
That's what
because,
it
well,
said.
I'm a subscriber and my
I
friend
well,
Jennifer is a
well,
subscriber.
I don't know. Got to fem it up a bit. Then I don't know. But anyway, I'm happy to have the
That's
dudes here.
crazy.
I like it. Works for me.
I knew
So
our commenters were subscribers. It's so interesting. What did I just say? I knew our
yeah,
commenters were subscribers.
she's sleeping, guys. This is Sarah Hepola sleeping. Just FYI.
Okay, I knew they were male.
Yeah,
Um, YouTube is so dominant male, and
yeah. That's
podcasts are
interesting.
dominant male, especially if you're not in the true crime recapping Love Island space, which we are
Uh,
not in.
No, no, I can't. When I watch Top Chef and it's on Bravo and they have the other shows. As for the other shows, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting fucking brain damage just watching the ads for these things. It absolutely eludes me who wants to watch a show about a captain of a ship where it's sort of everyone's arguing and like what? Yeah, it's
What do
some
you even?
stupid ship show. I don't know even know what
Okay,
it's
don't get
called.
angry. Don't get
No, I'm
angry at
not
me.
angry at you. I'm
I'm
not angry
still
at you.
I'm tender. I'm just now
Tender.
adjusting
Have a
to the
sunburn.
light. So
Okay.
don't no yelling.
No
Even
yelling.
hyperbolic dramatic yelling at fake Bravo.
Okay.
But I went to a wedding for a Real Housewife of the Potomac on Friday too.
I heard
So
about that.
I've had a lot of Bravo adjacency. I sat with I sat she married a guy from Dallas Cowboys that nobody's heard of. Sorry, but it's true. His name is Darius Harris. And so I sat in the section with a bunch of the Cowboys, which was fun. They were
Are they
sweet.
big?
Yeah, but not as big as I thought they were going to be. Like I
Okay.
sat next to one guy and I was like, he was like, I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm with the Cowboys. And I was like, the Dallas Cowboys? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, really? This is, but obviously before I'd figured out I'm surrounded by them. And I'm like, stand up. And he's like, excuse me? I mean, he was like, who do you think you
Prove
are?
it.
I go,
Prove it,
stand
mister.
up. And he goes, okay. And so he stood up and I was like, okay, you're a cowboy.
Oh,
He's
Sarah.
like a good 6 feet, 6 foot one. But
Neck. How's the neck? The thing. That's the
yeah,
football
he
neck
had
is
it.
the
Yeah,
thing.
he was
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
linebacker
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
it tracked. But the other guy I sat next to, who I don't know what position he played, because we waited for 2 hours. By the way, they got us there at 3:30, and they came out at 5:30.
Did they?
I'd never seen anything like it.
Did they
No,
provide canapes or anything?
no, just flutes of champagne, and there was some. I don't know if this was for Bravo or what, but apparently the bridesmaid's dress was not made. And so they were making it in the suite. And my photographer who was up there was sending me text messages that were like, they just brought in a sewing machine. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then when the bridesmaid went down the aisle, her back was all fucked up. Like it looked like it had been taped.
Yeah, that's pretty common. I remember being on shoots in New York years ago, and they just need it for the shot. So the back is just like basted or safety pinned, or even
Exactly.
like clips that you'd use for like lighting and stuff. Just like clipper in the back. That's fine. We
That's
just
what
need
it
the
looked
shot. Yeah,
like.
it's Bravo, man. It's Bravo. It's I mean, it's a wedding. I guess it's a real wedding, but it's also it's about the window dressing. So, all right.
Yeah. So anyway, we had 2 hours to get to know each other.
Oh,
And yeah, so the other guy was not as big, but he's also a cowboy. He had incredible style. He had a burgundy suit
oh
and um like glasses and that guy was like
no, he looked great. I'm gonna
money.
I'm gonna find a picture of it. I like that. It's exactly what I said. I was like, style. He had the little like
Yeah. I
lavender.
like that you're like, I'm gonna find a picture of it. Like this was something that was reported on the internet
Well,
and
it
not
was. It
just a
was.
picture that
It
you
was.
saw on my Instagram feed.
Look, it was reported as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Sarah. All right, so we're here today to talk about Bravo. We're here to talk a little about LA, though I'm not sure what more there is to talk about. And we're here to talk about kind of a bromance gone wrong, aren't we? Sort of like, when you go into like you buy some sour cream, you need some sour cream. You're making, I don't know, a key lime pie and you need some topping. And so you use half of it, then you kind of forget about it. Then you go in later, you're like, oh, that sour cream is here. I wonder if it's still good. And you open it and it's got like troll hair green and you got to toss it. So that's sort of like a bromance gone wrong. And we're here to talk about a bromance gone wrong.
Troll hair green was so funny.
Well,
Um, what do you want to talk about first? And then I'm going to also give an update on Harvey Weinstein, which has wrapped its jury. I mean, the prosecution has wrapped, and they're now in deliberations. So we should be getting a verdict soon. And I want people to be prepped
yeah,
for
because
what comes next.
we've all been like, I don't know, man. I don't feel prepped. I just don't.
Nancy,
I'm not prepped,
I
Sarah.
don't have a lot of uses in this world, but one thing I can do is prep our audience for the Harvey Weinstein verdict they don't care about.
That's
And
right.
I would like to do that. It's my
Okay,
superpower
that's right. That's
that
right.
isn't involving my tits.
Uh, wow, that just went from like 60 to 100 pretty quick. I'll cover the riots, the street riots. You
Mhm.
cover Harvey Weinstein. I think this is a fair division of labor. Really, actually, I'm not kidding. I'm
It's like
like,
you clean the gutters and I do the laundry.
that's right.
It's
See,
like you do
nobody.
the riots and I do the Me
Right.
Too jury trials.
That's it.
Um,
That's it.
can I
Everybody's
also
happy.
tell you that I saw a headline in Airmail this morning that Jared Leto got Me Too'd? And I was like, you know, it's a little late, guys, but it also felt like, yeah, that seems like the kind of guy that would get Me Too'd. Like I don't know anything about Jared Leto. He very handsome young man on a show called My So-Called Life. Beautiful,
From like,
beautiful.
I mean, that's a long time ago, my
Yeah, I was in
so-called life.
college.
Yeah. And then didn't he do that Darren Aronofsky movie?
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream that you love so much.
Wow.
That's awful. I fucking
I
hate that movie.
Oh no, that movie was like good. Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
I think he
yeah.
won an Oscar for playing a trans woman in Dallas Buyers Club. But then, there was also like post controversy because a trans woman didn't play a trans woman, that kind
He
of thing.
Yeah, he always looks to me like sort of like a Hare Krishna. You know?
Definitely. That's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
something very unstable about him. It's
Yeah.
true of most actors, but or I shouldn't say most because I don't know, but it's true of many actors whose professional job is saying other people's lines, for God's sake, and shape shifting. But there's certain people that just seem ungrounded, and he's one of them. He's also in a
Yeah.
rock band called Mission to Mars or something like that.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Well, okay.
I haven't even read the story yet. He's been Me Too'd, but I thought it was so interesting because it was kind of like when it's kind of like I'm too tired to think of a metaphor, but it's like if we had a podcast and we did for like an hour and a half, and then 2 days later I was like, oh, and another thing, da 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 da. And you were like, you should have said that on the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's how I feel about Jared Leto being Me Too now. It's like the podcast was done.
Mm.
We'd
Well,
finished, we'd wrapped the whole thing. Me Too is like, but I've done better work than this podcast.
that's okay.
I've done better work. I'm just going to be honest.
It's amusing me. I hope it's amusing the rest of you listeners. Okay, so let's
Mm.
move on to the curdled sour cream romance. That is, hold on, drum roll, please. That would be Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Now, I would just like to say that last, whenever it was, when Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon
Say
Musk,
your last name again.
Vivek Ramaswamy,
Yeah,
no,
you said it right this
Ramaswamy.
time, but last time you
Okay,
said Ramaswamy, like shawarma or something, and it was just so
yeah,
cute. It was like SWAT sticker. I love your
SWAT
little
sticker.
your little
That
words that you don't
yeah.
say right.
And there are many. Um, they came out and they wrote a piece in, I believe it was a piece, an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal about Doge, how they were going to come in, they were not going to take any salaries, they were going to like have a hard out, something like June 2026. They were going to cut all this stuff, and it was going to be great. And there were a lot of people in my life in the libertarian sphere who were kind of excited about this because who doesn't want to cut government waste? These guys are not inside the government. I mean, it's kind of a good idea. And I remember saying, how long are these three motherfuckers going to last in the same canoe? Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Elon Musk. These egos, how long are they going to be able to work together? Okay, Vivek was
Well,
thrown
by the way,
off.
I didn't even remember that Vivek was part of this.
Yes,
That's
yes,
how long he
yes.
lasted.
He lasted, I think it was less than 2 weeks. Don't quote me, but it was very, very quickly. He was out. That's fine. He was still on the Trump trail, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, there is no way Elon and Trump are going to be able to do this together. But you know that this and the money and the arms around each other, and here was with the
I've
Tesla,
never
and it's all
loved a
this.
straight man so much as I've loved at the real Donald Trump.
God, and I was waiting. I was waiting for the day when it was like when Trump turned. I didn't realize, I didn't know what the sequence was going to be, but I was waiting for, the day that Trump turned and started, calling Elon Musk by names like he's not so much. Well, it wasn't actually this week. Trump coming out, he's got his people doing it. And the one that I was just fabulous, Steve Bannon, Mr. Upstanding. Like, if you want to believe anybody in this world, anybody you want to trust with your life and your secrets, it's Steve Bannon. And he comes out and he says, you know what? The Elon Musks, he's nothing. They're a dime a dozen. I'm like, okay. So that's where we are right now. Elon, I think, may have shot his wad in a not great way. We're going to talk about that a little bit with Epstein. And let's see. Do you have any thoughts about this bromance gone wrong, Sarah?
Well, I think it's darling that you positioned this as like something that you might have especially been attuned to its creaky nature. You were like, I really suspected. Nancy, everyone knew.
Everybody did. I
It's like
know.
the
I
fucking
know.
end
I
of the
know.
usual
I
suspects.
know. I know.
Everyone fucking
I
knew this
know.
was going to implode. And the question was when and how,
When? Yes.
right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
so is this sooner or later than we would have expected? Sooner for me. I thought they had a little more time left on the
Yeah.
love line. Is it how I would have expected? No, it's more funny. I don't know. This is, we talked about Bravo reality shows. This is it's a reality show. People are coming back to Twitter to watch it. Nancy, it was occurring to me the other day. Do you think, because Elon took the job at Doge, um, for whatever reason he did that, then Tesla started getting set on fire and the stock prices started going down and everything in his stock portfolio started tanking. Is there any part of you that thinks he might have done this to get people back on Twitter? Because it was the best way possible. I mean,
Huh.
people that I know that had sworn off Twitter were like, I'm back, popcorn. I mean, the traffic on this must have been insane because whatever day it was that he just, I think it was Friday, but it might have been Thursday. He just decides to announce, oh, by the way, Donald Trump's in the Epstein files. That's why they haven't been released. Have a good day. And it's like, holy crap, this just happened. And it must have broken the internet. I would be curious to look at, that tweet's been deleted, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but at some point when I looked, it was like 17 million and that was
Yeah.
that day. And I'm sure it doubled. And, and that doesn't mention all the people like my parents who are never going to check Twitter, but know about the
Yeah.
tweet because it was mentioned on late night talk shows and, news programs. And so that's going on. Bill Maher had a great line on politically, whatever the fuck his show is called, Real Time. And it was like, this is the richest man in the world versus the most powerful man in the world. It's like Godzilla versus Mothra. And it is.
Oh.
It is. And so, you know, to what extent is it possible that Elon just wanted to roll the dice and bring people back to Twitter because it was going to do that? And it certainly did. And it's so interesting now because for the longest time, the libs were really mad at Elon because he betrayed
Mhm.
them and whatever. And but now I'm wondering, and if you had to pick a side, Musk versus Trump, who would you choose, Nancy Rommelman?
Okay, if I had to choose, I would choose Trump, and not because believe me, we're gonna get to my feelings today about Donald Trump later, because
Little less ketamine?
okay, yeah, probably a lot less ketamine, more McDonald's, less ketamine. Um, Trump has a lot of different levers that Elon does not have. Also, Elon, I think, and I don't know this for a fact, seems pretty genius at certain things or is able to get some pretty genius people around him to do certain things, whether it's EV cars or it's SpaceX
It's
or,
not what I
he's
heard from Steve Bannon, just a
no,
regular
Steve, a
guy.
dime a dozen, man. Like basically the guy shaking a cup down on my corner is the same as
My
Elon Musk,
my
right?
cat
The
Wallace just
cat
created a
Wallace.
new
That's right.
EV
That's
mobile,
right, right,
so
like, just like that. Um, Trump has a lot of levers. He's got a lot of people that are willing to lie, do whatever, do things behind the scenes. He's got a billion
that's true.
mouthpieces, and I don't know that Elon has that. He's got a lot of brainiac guys, but maybe sometimes they're a little mad at him.
I wonder
He
who he's
yeah,
surrounded by. Do you
I
ever
just
wonder?
he's got a lot of people that are not like super team Elon right now, whether it's like Silicon Valley or his legions of baby mamas or people within the government. And then you've got these mouthpieces, the Stephen Millers and the Steve Bannons. And it's just like, I don't know, the dude kind of, it's like, I'm an army of one. So I don't know. I would just,
So, okay, that's really interesting. So I feel like your rationale is it's almost like you're betting on this game. Like which
uh,
side you think is going to win. And I think you're making a persuasive case for why it's Trump. I'm not looking at my Trump versus Elon question that way. I'm more like what side is my heart drawn to? And I'm team Elon.
oh, then for sure. No, I am 100% because, and I'm just going to say this right now. Um, Hey, listeners in listener land, and for those of you on YouTube, maybe watching it, thanks for being here. This is the end of the free portion of this episode. If you would like the entire episode, got to head over to Substack. That's smokeandpodcast.substack.com. Become a paid subscriber. Many ways to do that. You get the full episodes and you get some other niceties and etc. and etc. And if you are over here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button as well. We appreciate it. Tell your friends. Thanks.